Well, Gary, we're here at Shepherd's Bush Empire on the second night of your 2004 Weekenders. How did last night go at the Birmingham Academy?
It was great, actually. I was happier than I thought I'd be. We were under. I don't think I might have said, but we were under rehearsed a little bit because I just thought, we're not doing many new songs. We're not doing any more new songs than what I did at the last gig, and so I thought, well, that's not that much to rehearse. So I knocked a day off. So because we're going to work on a Sunday, and I said, oh, don't worry, we'll just do Monday to Thursday. And big mistake, because more than half the set, because I did so many songs different to the Hope Blues DVD that there was so much more to do than I'd anticipated. So I should know, but I've been 25 years of doing it. I still make stupid mistakes. Do you know I told the blokes not to bring their keyboards about a year ago? Yeah, don't worry, don't bring your keyboards for the first day. What? What are you doing? That was when I was going through my pregnancy vague period, I think. Sympathy vagueness. Oh, it's weird. Yeah. Couldn't drive for love nor money. Anyway.
No, well, the fans' reaction seemed fantastic. I mean, it was deafening last night, and of course, in between every track, they were shouting Numan. I mean, what's that like when they do that? It must be awesome.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, well, it's sort of encouraging that you may not have chosen the best songs that everybody wanted, but what you've chosen is going down well enough. So it's an encouraging sign that it's not a bad night. It's really good. It's a lovely feeling to get reaction to certain songs, especially songs that you're maybe a little bit cagey about, or songs that you perhaps should really know a little bit better than you do. But I think it's good. Quite regularly, actually, we do sort of bring out songs out of nowhere that we haven't ever done before, like last night with the Fade Out song, or Fade Out Third song, or songs that we haven't done for quite a while, like Air Crash Beer, I think, and the Complex, things like that. So I think it's important to do that, but of course I don't know them. So I don't listen to my own stuff, except for what I'm working on at the moment. So I suddenly find, like Fate Under 30, and that's the first time I'd heard that. I was trying to find something else, and I suddenly stumbled across it. And that's the first time I would have heard that for, I don't know, 26 years, 27 years. And then all of a sudden, you're a couple of days later, you're on stage doing it, and it's not embedded the way some of the songs that you do more often are. So I've made an absolute howler of the lyrics. I've got no idea what I was.
I don't think anyone noticed though. There was a bit of a mosh pit going on as well, which I couldn't believe.
It was great. It's such a silly song. It's such an old song, and one so badly done by me particularly, but by us in general. It was good fun, actually. Really good fun.
Let's just talk a bit about the fashion. I mean, you've got really cool clothes. You wear really cool clothes. You've got a very distinct, almost sort of cyber industrial sort of image now. And I've noticed a lot of the fans that are following that now. You always followed the fans. They've always followed your fashions and stuff like that. Are you pleased at that? And are you really cool? Are you happy with that image? Because it is a sort of matrixy sort of thing. Is that what you're trying to achieve with it?
Well, mainly so. My shopping centre of choice is Camden, and Camden is that. So you can't help but find it really, that or good. So it's not as if I go out and search it. I'm just really lazy. I just go to the same place and see what they've got that particular week or month, whatever. So no, I'm not. I'm actually not interested in clothes at all. Much to Gemma's disappointment. I'm a real disappointment because when she met me, I was wearing woolly jumpers and loafers, and she sorted that out. So no, I'm more. I always said like I don't have a stylist, but I do really. Gemma does most of it. So she goes out and she finds stuff that she thinks I might be into, and then I say yes or no to it. But she's the one that really finds it and sorts me out.
And of course the fans are following. So I mean, you're pleased with that? I mean, because they're doing the old image as well, but a lot of them are looking sort of like this Keanu Reeves sort of.
Yeah, well, if they are, then yeah, that's great. But that's not what I do it. It's not the reason to go out and buy certain clothes and look a certain way is for the way it helps you project the songs and the way you look, and always I think some recognition of getting older and what will work on a man that's 46 compared to a man that's 21. And it's somehow I'll get told off for talking about age and so on, but I think you do have to. There's nothing more embarrassing than those men that walk around, they've got grey hair and little ponytails out the back. I find that embarrassing, and I don't want to end up like that.
I'll just cut mine off, so I'm okay.
It's not for me at all.
So, Gary, obviously we talked about last night. Now, you're trying to because we're filming on a DVD, you try and change the set in some way and give the fans something differently on each night, aren't you? So you tell us a little bit about that and why you plan.
Well, tonight is a little bit forced upon us anyway because David not being here. So there's a few songs that we weren't able to change anyway. So it's all actually worked out reasonably well, considering that's a fairly drastic position to be in. To lose half your keyboard players is a pretty grim. Anyway, it's all worked out for the best. And so taking advantage of that, and also wanting to change the songs about a little bit because of the set, because of the filming both nights. We've all the encores are going to be different, but we'll see what they are. And there's a couple of songs in the main set which are different. There's an old one that I've not done for a few years that's come back, and one that I didn't do last night because I didn't think I ought to, but didn't matter as it turned out. We're going to do that tonight instead. So just a little bit. It's not major, and I think we're playing 18 songs and 5 of them are different, so it's not a dramatically different set, but it is different. And all of the stuff that we're doing, which is what we didn't do last night, we also didn't do on the Hope Bleeds video. So it's trying to make sure that people don't get lots and lots of the same songs on all the different things that they buy, to try to make it fair and realistic. But does mean you'll leave out some things I really liked actually. There you go. So I like the stuff we're doing today as well, so that's alright.
So can you tell us a little bit about the future? What are your future plans at the moment? I believe you started your new record label, Multi Records.
Yeah, got Multi Records. Well, Multi Records is our first attempt at running a label again since Numan, which we really didn't do a very good job of for various reasons. And you see, the internet has made such a big difference to the way things work, especially for smaller people like me. You're not with a big label, you're not getting multi-million pound pushes and stuff, so you're kind of, to a degree, you're kind of on your own a little bit anyway. The internet has made a big difference as to the opportunities that you have at your disposal to sort of take advantage of that, or make the best of it, really, I suppose. It's not an ideal situation. And that's what we're doing. We've looked at what the previous label did, we looked at what the label before that did, that was a bit bigger, but had their own way of doing things. And we looked at what worked and what didn't. And most of it didn't, with some of the things. So we tried as much as possible to learn from other people's mistakes and come up with our own little theories as to what would have been a better thing to have done. And now we try out and we see what we can do. If you can get a video, if you can get a good video made and get that shown on, in my case, just one of the interactive channels, it was Kerrang on both videos. It made such a big difference. And then with the internet, you can galvanise your fans to do what they can to help you by buying it at the right time or that sort of thing. And if they come on board with that, then having a top 30 single becomes quite an achievable thing, even for someone like me that will not get radio play and will not get any mainstream television and probably won't get any more than one interactive channel if I'm lucky. I think without an interactive channel it might be quite a bit more difficult, so that's still quite an important part of it. But all that happens is you go to a promotions company that do TV and say, look, this is my video, can you get anyone to play it? And you bung them loads of money, whether they do or they don't, which is a bit of a pisser. And you take your chances and you see what happens. If they get it played, then things are a bit brighter, but not certain at all. And if they don't, then things are a bit grimmer, but nonetheless you've still got your fans that you can call on the internet, and there are still things that you can do to try to get a chart single. The problem is, a chart single that is not being played by the radio still doesn't give you much exposure, and if it's not being shown on television either, what's the point? A chart single without that exposure actually isn't worth it. It's always saying I've got another 27 single, if nobody ever hears it, it's alright, but it's that much better than nothing, really. So it's difficult, but we'll be in the same position as any other small label, and I don't think we'll do any worse than the other small label. I think we could do better than so.
So of course, as always, you'll be relying on your fans, the loyalty of them, which of course they are tremendously loyal. Yeah. And that's obviously going to be, that's only one of the advantages you've got.
It's vital. It really is, yeah.
To do that, really. How do you feel then? I mean, obviously, in America and countries like that, how do you feel you would progress internationally with the label? Is it going to be obviously via the internet, and you're hope to do a world tour at some point?
We're going to do licensing deals to start with, and see how we get on with that, where possible. I mean, Eagle did that in America with Cleopatra, and that actually worked quite well. Not that I was suddenly a #1 act in America, but we sold quite a lot of records. The tour was much better than the one that followed it, actually, which was a bit disappointing. But it showed that Cleopatra were doing some good things, and I think I underappreciated them a little bit at the time. But I actually tried to get away from them. But they were the better of the labels that have been over.